Welcome to Inside Insight, your quick hit of tips, tools, and trends for manufacturing, distribution, and Dynamics 365 Business Central, brought to you by InsightWorks.
Welcome back to the deep dive. We gather all sorts of source material, articles, notes, research, and pull out the really crucial insights. Today, we're diving deep into Dynamics 365 Business Central, specifically how it can be, optimized for some really intense high-pressure sales situations. So let me paint a picture for you. Imagine you're behind a busy counter. Could be a trade desk, construction supplies, maybe an agricultural parts counter, or even just a small buzzing outlet store. Phones are just going off, walking customers are lining up, maybe your inventory is a bit tight on certain things. In those moments, the margin for error, it's tiny, razor thin really. And yet, what we often hear and what our sources point to is that businesses using Business Central in these exact environments sometimes hit, friction. Trying to get that smooth, accurate, fast sales process isn't always straightforward.
That's exactly right. You see, the standard sales order pages in Business Central, they're incredibly powerful, no doubt about it, very comprehensive. But I'd argue they were really designed for maybe a more deliberate, detailed kind of sales process, not necessarily for the unique speed and, frankly, chaos of those counter scenarios. And this mismatch, it often leads to some pretty critical errors that can ripple right through the business and cause real headaches.
Okay, that's a key point. Critical errors. What sort of things are we actually talking about here? And why do they seem to hit so much harder in these direct counter sales compared to maybe a longer B2B deal? Well, the pressure itself really magnifies the impact, doesn't it? We're talking about mistakes that sound small but are actually incredibly common and damaging. Things like picking the wrong customer record. Maybe they have special pricing you just missed. Or grabbing the wrong item variant, instantly frustrating for the customer. Then there's just inconsistent pricing popping up, or maybe missing the payment step altogether in the rush. And sometimes, honestly, losing the sale entirely because the whole process felt too slow or clunky. And these aren't just, minor inconveniences. Each slip-up directly hits your cash flow, erodes that customer trust with every correction needed, and can seriously mess up your inventory counts. Stockouts, phantom stock, it all stems from this.
You absolutely nailed the cumulative effect there. Think about a typical day at that counter. Let's say a walk-in customer comes up, asks for LS2 cables. Simple enough, right? But in that standard BC sales order screen, the rep types it in, manually. But often there's no immediate context right there, like no quick prompt for this customer's price, or if it's even in stock at this location right now, or even a fast way to tell if they're a new customer or already in the system beyond asking their name and maybe spelling it out. I've heard stories genuinely where reps spend a couple of minutes just trying to confirm basic customer details. Now, multiply that by, say, 50, maybe 100 transactions a day. You're not just looking at a few errors, you're looking at hours of lost time, frustrated staff, and a growing line of impatient customers. It's death by 1,000 cuts, truly.
And it feels even more complex when you get to something that should be simple, like checking a price or confirming if something's actually available. The sources really highlight how easy it is for someone under pressure to just forget to apply the right customer record first, or the specific discount code, or even select the right warehouse or store location for the transaction. And any one of those small misses can make the price default incorrectly, or worse, make stock look like it's unavailable when it's actually sitting right there on a shelf. I remember waiting for a part once being told, sorry, out of stock. Turns out it was there, just in a different bin. The system didn't point the rep towards. That kind of frustration. Multiply that daily. Ugh.
And, it's not just about the manual typing either. Even technology we think should solve this, like barcode scanners, they have their limits if they aren't backed by the right logic. If that scanner isn't plugged into an intelligent workflow within Business Central, it doesn't always, save the day like you'd hope. You might scan a cable, scan a power supply, great. But the system doesn't think, hey, people usually buy this specific power cord with those. It doesn't guide the rep. It doesn't suggest related items, doesn't stop them accidentally grabbing the 10-foot version instead of the 6-foot one. The scanner just inputs data. It doesn't add that layer of context or intelligence.
Okay, so if we just take a step back here, it seems pretty clear Business Central on its own isn't perfectly tailored for what you called trade counter chaos. And it's not really a flaw in BC itself, right? It's more a difference in design philosophy. Its core strengths are elsewhere: comprehensive data, managing complex processes, solid record keeping. But for those super fast, context-heavy, high-volume counter sales, the standard screens can fall a bit short. They often lack, say, an easy way to just search by a phone number or maybe an email address, which is how counter customers often identify themselves. They don't usually have that built-in logic guiding the order based on who the customer is or what they're buying. There aren't as many guardrails, maybe, to stop someone skipping a step or applying the wrong discount. And generally, you don't see role-specific screens optimized purely for speed and accuracy for those frontline counter staff.
Right. So if standard BC isn't quite hitting the mark out of the box for these really rapid-fire situations, what do counter staff actually need? What would a system look like if it adapted to them instead of, forcing them to adapt to it?
Well, what's fascinating here, I think, is shifting from just seeing it as a data entry screen to thinking about a genuinely guided sales experience. The staff need tools that streamline things and build in some intelligence. So first off, picture something like a take order wizard. And I don't just mean a form, I mean a structured, repeatable process. Step by step, it guides the user, find or create the customer, confirm the right location, then accurately enter the items. Crucially, with all the correct pricing logic already baked in and applied automatically, that just cuts down errors massively and keeps things consistent.
Okay, a wizard makes sense, like guardrails for the process.
Exactly. Then, for those pure cash and carry sales, someone just walks up, grabs stuff, pays you need a dedicated quick scan mode, something that lets staff just rapidly scan items like, beep, 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 apply the payment, and finish the whole thing with minimal clicks. Now, Business Central does have some quick scan capability, sure, but often it lacks that really tight, integrated, structured workflow you need for genuine speed and accuracy when the volume is high. Every second counts there. The aim is scan to checkout in just moments.
Got it. So faster throughput for the simple stuff.
Right. And another huge piece is context-aware pricing and discount control. The system needs to automatically recognize the customer, know their location, and instantly figure out the right price or discount rules. Without the rep having to remember or look it up or manually select anything, that eliminates those awful callbacks about missed discounts and ensures pricing is consistent. Think of the back office time saved just on fixing those.
Yeah, no more, oops, forgot the trade discount.
Precisely. And then a truly effective item search that actually works. This is critical. Instead of needing the exact part number or description, imagine typing, say, front wheel, and it just shows you all the front wheels regardless of word order and lets you quickly filter by maybe color or material or size. That's invaluable when customers use vague descriptions where you've got a huge catalog. It makes sure you find the right thing first time much faster.
Okay, that sounds much more like how people actually think and ask for things.
Exactly. And finally, something often overlooked but so valuable, lost sale tracking. If someone walks away without buying, the staff should have a quick, easy way to log why. Was it out of stock? Price too high? Were they just browsing?
Oh.
That information isn't just, a sad record of a missed sale. It's gold. It's market intelligence. It can tell you what to order more of, maybe where your pricing is off, or even guide marketing. It turns that failure into actual data you can use.
Huh. That's a really interesting angle, turning a lost sale into an insight. So, okay, that's a great breakdown of the ideal features, but how does this translate into tangible business benefits? What's the real ROI here beyond just making things easier for the staff?
That's a powerful question. Because the benefits, they really do go far beyond just making life easier on the front line. Look, if your back office team is constantly spending time cleaning up incorrect sales orders from the counter, if they're issuing credit memos left and right, if you're fielding complaints about sales gone wrong, these aren't just small process glitches. They are fundamentally system gaps, and they are hitting your bottom line hard. Every correction takes time, maybe 10, 15 minutes of someone's day, plus the customer hassle. So the core idea really is that these guided tools, they enhance Business Central, they don't replace it. They specifically address the limitations BC has in these high-volume, fast environments where the standard ways just fall short. It's about turning those hidden costs into actual savings.
Okay, that makes sense. So given all that, what's the practical way forward for a company already using Business Central? If they want these guided workflows, are they looking at a massive custom project, or are there more targeted ways to get there?
Thankfully, no, you don't necessarily need a massive custom overhaul. There are solutions out there designed to introduce these guided workflows directly into your existing Business Central setup. For instance, you see offerings like the Counter Sales app from InsightWorks. It's built specifically for this purpose. It integrates those intuitive wizards we talked about, the robust barcode scanning for quick sales, price override controls with permissions, that intelligent item search, all directly within Business Central. So Crucially, you don't need a separate point of sale system to manage. It all leverages your existing BC data, your items, your customers, your business logic. It's about extending BC's power, not bolting on something separate.
Right, so it keeps everything within that single system of record, which is a big plus. And this kind of add-on, it brings some key functions right into BC itself, doesn't it? From what I understand, you get those structured sales screens, but they can also be smart enough to suggest, say, frequently bought items together or related products for an easy upsell, stuff that standard BC might not easily do in that rapid counter context.
Exactly. It's like having a little sales assistant built into the screen, prompting the rep with relevant suggestions based on what's being ordered or who the customer is. That's real value add right there.
Definitely.
And it also massively simplifies what can be a real pain point: payment processing at the counter. Being able to manage deposits, run credit cards, handle cash, issue refunds, all cleanly within one single logical interface in BC. That's absolutely critical for accuracy and for making the end-of-day reconciliation smooth. It gets rid of needing separate terminals or manual calculations, which, let's be honest, are where errors and frustration often creep in.
So ultimately, for any organization where walk-in sales or maybe quick phone orders are a big part of the business, this kind of enhancement sounds like a really smart way to get the most out of Business Central without needing every single person on the front line to become a full-blown ERP expert. It empowers them to be fast and accurate, which is what matters most in those face-to-face moments.
Yeah.
Lets them focus on the customer, not battling the system.
Precisely. It lets them do their job better and faster.
Okay, so what does this all boil down to for you, our listener? Let's recap the main insight here. Dynamics 365 Business Central is undeniably robust, a powerful general ERP. But for those really specific high-pressure sales spots like counter sales, targeted enhancements can make a massive difference. We're talking huge improvements in efficiency, in accuracy, and ultimately in customer satisfaction. It's about taking that potential chaos and turning it into structured, profitable success.
Yeah, and if we just zoom out for a second, connect this to the bigger picture, it really raises an interesting question, doesn't it? Where else in your business might a powerful general system like Business Central actually benefit from more tailored tools? Tools designed to optimize a very specific workflow or particular role. Think about other specialized teams, maybe niche tasks that currently involve a lot of workarounds or manual steps. These principles of guided workflows, they can apply in more places than you might initially think.
That's a great point. And maybe here's a final thought to leave you with. Really consider the hidden costs, the costs of inefficiency in your fastest moving sales channels. It's not just the obvious errors you catch. It's the wasted time, the missed upsell chances, the incredibly valuable data you aren't collecting because the process is too difficult. What opportunities might you be missing out on? What crucial insights could you be gathering if your system truly worked with your frontline teams smoothly and intuitively, instead of them constantly having to find ways to work around it? It's definitely something worth digging into because optimizing those front lines can unlock some serious strategic value.